Hmm.
How's everyone?
Good. Thank you, Dr. Rogers.
The
Good.
summer's officially over now for us, right?
Yep. And Dr. Rogers, I just want to let you know that Trustee Foyt is trying to join the meeting now. She's having difficulties with the number, but she may be joining us a little late.
Okay, thanks for that. And then Floresta, who's gonna give us administrative support, if anyone? Are we
It'd
on our
be
own?
Lauren DiPentino. So Lauren's here to help with that.
I'm here.
Okay, Lauren, you'll do roll call?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How's Kelvin?
Getting better. I stopped by to check on him last night. So
Oh,
I just told him you just gotta like one of these things, you just gotta take your time and heal. Don't rush it back. You'll be back at the hospital.
yeah, that is true.
That we have a great team that can take care of things while he's away. So
Good. So you have somebody to help him out at the house?
yes, he does.
Oh,
And then I
good.
also was telling him, I said, you don't need to be trying to make decisions when you loopy on the meds.
Yeah. It's funny. When I had my open heart surgery, I remember he called me within a couple of days after my surgery and he asked me a question. And I said, look, I'm giving you a legal answer, but keep in mind, I'm giving it to you under Oxycontin. So
Exactly.
take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, and that's what he has the Oxycontin.
Yeah, that's terrible stuff.
Yes, the sooner you can wean yourself off of that, the better.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, I say we go ahead and get this party started. So, Lauren, do you mind leading us in roll call? And we will say we are officially bringing this meeting to order at 1:01.
You got it. Yes, sir. All right. Chair Rogers,
Present.
Trustee Turner Whiteley,
Present.
and for the record, I see Trustee Dukowski.
Yes, I'm present. Thank you.
Perfect.
And Lauren, for the record, Trustee Dukowski is now a member of the committee as well. And we'll probably want to make an adjustment for the next meeting. Trustee Kate Whiteley is going to take over as chair, and then I will transition to just a general member.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. With that said, I'm sorry, I move screen. So the agenda, we have roll call. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right. No one signed up for public comment. Do we have committee action to accept the proposed agenda? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. We will transition to agenda item number 4, new business. Floresto, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Chair. I'll go ahead and share the presentation here. And good afternoon, everyone. For the record, I'm Floresto Caballas, the district's Chief Financial Officer. And today I'll give you an update on where the district stands financially as of June 30th, 2025. These numbers are still unaudited, but they give a clear picture of how we finished the year and what's ahead. And as I'll point out, a few things have been updated since we originally prepared this information for the committee, mainly because the state of Nevada recently gave us more complete data and we made some normal year-end accounting adjustments.
So Foresto, are those updates not reflected in the attachment that was part of Diligent?
Yes, that's correct. So I'm presenting here the same attachment you all may have reviewed, and I added in some new information to show you the changes between the original presentation and the numbers that we updated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to start with some good news. On July 29th, we closed both the federal New Markets Tax Credit Program and Nevada New Markets Jobs Act program transactions. Together, those deals brought in $4 million for the new West Las Vegas library. Some of you might remember hearing an earlier number closer to $5 million. The difference is the cost of closing the transaction. That includes attorney fees, consultants, and other deal costs that come with putting this type of financing together. We also had to adjust the structure toward the end because the two investor banks had different rules, and that meant fewer community development entities were able to participate, which lowered the amount of potential funding. But we still got a very strong result. When you add this $4 million to the $6.5 million we received from the first round in 2024, that's almost $11 million total for West Las Vegas. And I want to thank all the trustees here and all the trustees on the full board, along with directors on both the Qualic B board and the foundation board, because it was a bit of a scramble at the end. We convened those special board meetings, and fortunately, everyone was able to attend to approve special resolutions to help close this deal. And beyond helping fund construction, the benefit is that it frees up our own capital reserves, so we can use those dollars for other library needs, especially new capital initiatives. We'll keep looking for more opportunities with these programs for future projects too.
Nicely done.
Thank you. As far as the consolidated sales tax, when we first prepared this consolidated sales tax slide, it looked like the fiscal year 2025 CTX revenues were $29.4 million. I'm sorry, I was at the revised schedule. Here's the original information that was presented in your attachments. The $29.4 million was down $1.8 million from the prior year, about a 5.7% drop, and about 7% under budget. Since then, we got updated numbers from the Department of Taxation, and the picture is actually better than we thought. The final total for fiscal year 2025 was actually about $31 million, basically flat with fiscal year 2024, and only about 2% under budget. Now, this change has a lot to do with the state's reporting issues. They've been modernizing their systems, and staff has been reporting this in the monthly financial services board reports. And that's caused delays and differences in how the data is reported. On top of that, they've been dealing with network problems tied to a cyber attack on the state system in late August. I've mentioned before that comparing CTX month to month against the prior year has been tricky, and this is exactly why. The state is still working through those reporting challenges. So the decline wasn't as steep as it first looked, but the overall story is still the same. The years of post-pandemic rebound are behind us, and now we're in a period of normalization and slower growth.
May I just want to acknowledge Trustee Sanchez has joined.
Thank you, Chair.
And did Trustee Foyt, was she able to successfully join?
We don't see her yet.
Okay. As you were, Resto, sorry for the interruption.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Chair. In this slide, we wanted to show the 10-year trend to kind of explain further the differences in CTX over time, especially when we believed that the CTX for 2025 was coming in lower. So this illustrates that, and as you can see, the drop that came from the $29.4 million estimate is here for fiscal year 2025. And here's the updated version. Fiscal year 2025 actually matched fiscal year 2024 at about $31 million. The big picture hasn't changed though. We had steady growth before COVID, then the sharp decline in 2020, then the strong rebound in 2022 through 2024, thanks to stimulus and pent-up spending. And now we're flattening out. That's why we budget conservatively, especially under Executive Director Watson's leadership, which helped us navigate through the pandemic. We don't plan as if the peak years will keep repeating. We plan for things to level out, and then it keeps us prepared if the economy slows even more. On the property tax side, things are very strong compared to actual fiscal year 2024. Fiscal year 2025 revenues were up $5.1 million or 8%. Actual collections in fiscal year 2025 were $68.9 million. Basically right on target with the $68.6 million budget. Fiscal year 2026, for that year, we're budgeting $76.2 million, which is about an 11% increase. And that shows continued growth in the local property tax base, and it helps us balance out the volatility we sometimes see with the sales tax. General fund expenditures for fiscal year 2025. When we first prepared this information, we reported total fiscal year 2025 expenditures at $82.8 million, which looked about 14% under budget. Salaries and benefits were estimated at $52.5 million, about $8.2 million under budget. After closing the books, though, we added an additional $1.5 million payroll accrual, which is a normal year-end adjustment. It accounts for payroll earned in June, but not paid until July. With that adjustment, fiscal year 2025 expenditures are now $84.3 million, still well under budget, but the savings aren't quite as large as we first thought. Salaries and benefits now total $54 million, about $6.8 million under budget. So the overall picture hasn't changed. Spending was still lower than budgeted across the board, but the margin of savings is a little smaller after the adjustment. And just to connect this back to past discussions, this is why we budget personnel as if every position is filled all year, even though we know that turnover will create some savings. And that approach has kept us flexible. We can hold off filling vacancies or restructuring positions when needed, and that helps us manage costs in real time. It's also important because, like we've talked about before, service contracts are getting more expensive in today's economy. With inflation and higher wages, it means we're seeing bigger numbers when contracts come up for renewal. So our budgeting approach makes sure that we can absorb those increases without cutting back on services. All right, that takes us to fund balances in the general fund. The fiscal year 2025 budgeted projected ending general fund balance is $14.5 million. That's 15% of expenditures, and that's our rule of thumb for a safe margin. The actual fiscal year 2025 ending fund balance came in at about $31.2 million, which is 38% of expenditures. Both figures are transferring $16.5 million to the capital projects fund. So those are the fund balances after we transferred almost $17 million from the general fund to the capital projects fund. For fiscal year 2026, the budget includes an $18 million transfer. And as always, these reserves are by design. They're the safety net that lets us handle unexpected changes, whether it's swings in sales tax, shifts in federal funding, or higher operating costs for things like facility contracts. And we've seen all of those things over the last fiscal year, which is exactly why we've emphasized in past meetings our conservative budgeting and how it ensures we maintain stability in keeping services running and keeping projects moving forward. We are also continuing to make adjustments to these numbers, but I've highlighted the most significant changes. The financial statement auditors will start fieldwork next week, and we'll be asking the Finance and Audit Committee to meet again in November to review the results of the audit. That's the financial update. Mr. Chair, thank you. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, I'll open it up to my fellow trustees to see if there are any questions. Thorough presentation, as always.
I have one quick question. Floresto, the general fund balance is so much higher. That's a reflection of the savings and also of the increased taxes, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
And Vice Chair Whiteley, I just want to add on to that is expected. We budget for 15% fund balance, but I mentioned how we expect a higher savings, and that's what contributes to the large transfers from the general fund to the capital projects fund every year.
I remember you telling us about that last time. I just wanted to make it really clear for the record. Thank you for your conservative approach.
You're welcome.
Okay. Trustee Dukowski or Trustee Sanchez, you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, just a comment saying that this is very thorough and thank you for providing this information. I guess maybe I have one question, which is, Floresto, what are you seeing or what are they saying for the future? I understand you don't have a crystal ball, but since we are starting this normalization process, what do you project for our future? Provided knowing that you have no crystal ball. I understand that.
Yes, thank you, Trustee Sanchez. Yeah, I know we've talked about this in the past. What's optimistic, as far as, from our point of view, is that the sales tax revenues did not come in as low as it looked. The trend was concerning for a little while there, but fortunately, it was just due to reporting challenges from the state of Nevada. So we would be more concerned had the number really come in at $2 million under at 29 million. But the fact that we remained flat over the last couple of years suggests that the Las Vegas economy is actually more resilient than it appears. And across the country, I know that my peers are all cautiously optimistic, but at the same time, we're preparing our budgets in a similar fashion, knowing that this potential recession that the economists are looking at could be more severe, but it's too early to tell. We continue to hold the line, move forward with our conservative budgeting approach to insulate the district from any severe downturns. But as of right now, it doesn't, I hate to be too optimistic about this, but again, I have these discussions with the executive director and the administrative team, and we're comfortable moving forward with all of the initiatives from capital projects to programming, based on our current budget, our ending fund balance, and not seeing a whole lot of the sky falling at this point.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
I just have a comment. This is
Yeah, go ahead,
Kelly.
Trustee Dukowski.
Yes, I just want to say that I really appreciate the work. All of this goes, you guys all do, putting this together. It's a very comprehensive yet easy to understand report. And thank you. Appreciate the good work you're doing.
Thank you, Treasurer Dukowski.
Well, Trustee Sanchez preempted me on the question I was going to ask about, sort of just as we forecast for the future, what adjustments might we want to take into consideration. And certainly I agree with my other trustee colleagues, just, the reports are always thorough, and it's certainly great to be closing the year in a strong financial position where other entities aren't in as strong a position as we are. And so Floresto, certainly appreciate your leadership and Kelvin's and all the other team members who contribute to helping us run, a lean shop and really follow our budgets and really manage those staff vacancies. That's a strategy that we employ typically here at the university, knowing that, we're going to budget for 100%, but we know we're going to have some attrition throughout the year, and being able to delay or push filling those positions to help get your budget into the ratio that you prefer it to be in. So certainly I appreciate the hard work and I don't have any question, but just accolades for the whole team and the work.
All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
And let me see if I can get back to the agenda. And that was for discussion only. And so, Floresto, I'm believing that you would do a similar presentation at Thursday's meeting.
I can. It's not on the agenda, but I can provide.
Well, no. If it's not on the agenda, then we won't add it. I just presumed that it might be. But maybe that's something I can comment on during the chair's report. Just sort of where we are financially, and just maybe have you come up and just reinforce sort of a brief summary of how strong we closed out FY25, and we came in stronger in some areas that we had initially thought we weren't.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't believe Executive Director Watson will be available to attend the meeting on Thursday in person, so I can also speak to it under the Executive Director's report.
Perfect. I know he said he wasn't sure, and I'm glad to hear that he is taking the advice to let us run the meeting in his absence.
Sure.
Okay, that sounds good. And do we have anyone sign up for public comment?
No, sir.
And I know before we go to adjournment, Ms. Savino, can you hold on? I wanted to ask you a question after we adjourn. If that's okay.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion. This is Dutkowski.
Do we have a second?
I second. This is Elaine Sanchez.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Motion carries. We are officially adjourned at 1:19. Very efficient meeting. And then Jeff, I know I need to follow with you.